as President Trump's mass immigration enforcement continues, a leaked document is detailing a supposed plan by federal authorities to conduct a large-scale raid targeting illegal immigrants in Los Angeles.
Ooh, this is interesting. The Los Angeles Times has obtained a leaked internal federal document detailing the plans. The outlet reports that the planned raid was going to be such a large-scale operation that ICE agents were also going to be joined by the FBI and DEA. With this raid supposedly set to happen before the end of the month.
Trump's administration is starting to express frustration over these leaks. Newly sworn-in Attorney General Pam Bondi has issued a clear warning last night for those responsible.
If anyone leaks anything, people don't understand that jeopardizes the lives of our great men and women in law enforcement. And if you leaked it, we will find out who you are and we will come after you. And it's not going to stop our mission. It's not going to stop the president's mission to make America safe again. We were very clear with the lawsuit that we filed in Chicago that if you don't follow the law, you will be prosecuted by the Department of Justice.
So this is the latest news. It comes after Trinidad gang members were allegedly tipped off in Colorado just last week ahead of a raid plan there. And raids in Chicago were also delayed last month after another media leak.
Well, between the leaks and the handful of Democrat-led cities still trying to hinder raids and deportation efforts by declaring sanctuary city status, we'll continue to see how President Trump's deportation efforts unfold.
Boy. So we got to talk about a story that is extremely frustrating, but it's a story that highlights why you have to have mass cuts and firings at these institutions, these agencies that are hell-bent on undermining the President of the United States and the America First agenda. Like, for example, the mass deportations, because apparently there are snitches at the DOJ and the FBI when it comes to the ICE raids that are happening in these sanctuary cities. Okay, so we briefly discussed the ICE raid of the apartments in Aurora, Colorado, where you had the Tren de Aragua gang members. You know, the story that the mainstream media said was a right-wing conspiracy. It wasn't true. Turns out it was true. ICE went to raid the apartments, and a lot of the gang members got away. Now, how they got away? Well, that's because apparently you have a rat inside of the government that is leaking information about the ICE raids to these sanctuary cities to tip off the criminals, letting the criminals know, the gang members know ahead of time, hey, ICE is coming, so that you can run away, so that you can get away. Again, disgusting, absolutely disgusting behavior. You are tipping off gang members to escape law enforcement so that they can continue to commit crimes and to cause chaos. Those are the type of people that we're dealing with in this government, guys. And this is why we need people like Kash Patel to get confirmed as the head of the FBI so that we can get started cleaning out this agency and trying to get this country back on track. Because as long as the deep state is currently working to undermine the Trump administration, our efforts are going to be less efficient than they should be. So without further ado, I want to play this clip here of Kristi Noem essentially calling out the FBI for leaking some of the details about the planned ICE raid that's actually about to happen in Los Angeles.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is calling out the FBI, claiming the Bureau is responsible for leaking details about a major immigration enforcement operation planned for Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Times reported details on upcoming ICE raids in the city, citing anonymous sources who provided them intel. Kristi Noem shared their exclusive on X, saying the FBI is so corrupt. We will work with any and every agency to stop leaks and prosecute these crooked deep state agents to the fullest extent of the law. According to the LA Times report, the operation was expected to happen by the end of this month, and the Drug Enforcement Administration and the FBI were said to be assisting ICE. ICE has not issued a statement in response to the LA Times story, but Trump administration officials suggest leaks to the media on upcoming operations is putting law enforcement at risk, with U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi telling Fox News those leakers could face prosecution.
If anyone leaks anything, people don't understand that jeopardizes the lives of our great men and women in law enforcement. And if you leaked it, we will find out who you are and we will come after you.
Another consequence of leaks, according to border czar Tom Homan, is botched operations. Homan says leaks of raid information came out in the Denver area ahead of their operation there last week, resulting in far fewer arrests than what was originally expected.
This isn't a game. When the operations get leaked like that, it puts our officers at great risk. It's already a dangerous job. The rest of it. We know TDA is dangerous. Everybody can agree to that. But when they get a heads up we're coming, it's only a matter of time before our officers are ambushed.
Meanwhile,
Facts. And that's exactly what's at stake here. We're talking about the lives of our law enforcement members who have to do a very dangerous job. Okay, you're dealing with some of the most dangerous criminals in the world. And you got clowns that are leaking this, trying to help the gang members get away. Yeah, I mean, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. And again, it's super annoying because out of one side of their mouth, the mainstream liberal media will basically taunt President Trump for his mass deportation numbers not being as good as Obama's, right? Which again, they don't criticize Obama for his mass deportation, right? He deported in chief. But again, you gotta understand, President Trump is working against everybody. He's working against his own government when it comes to executing these mass deportations. You have states like California that have Trump-proof their states. You have these cities that went out of their way to tell their law enforcement, their police, no, you cannot work with ICE. You cannot work with federal agents. So when you have the whole country, right, where most of the illegals are in these blue states, okay, in these blue cities, working against you, yeah, it makes your job harder, and it also makes the job more dangerous. But again, you know, this is par for the course when it comes to Democrats. They care about criminals more than they care about law-abiding citizens. That's what they care about the most, and they will protect the criminals at all costs.
While immigration advocacy groups are calling for more information about ICE operation activity, suggesting not only criminals are being targeted by ICE, but vulnerable migrant communities too. While the Trump administration has said violent criminals in the country illegally are the current priority, they say anyone in the country illegally could be deported. Rapid response network hotlines are set up in some California counties, with this video promoting the hotline and asking for reports on ICE activity.
These are not criminals. These are individuals who make up the fabric of who we are as the greatest nation in the greatest state in the world.
There's two agents approaching a house right now. One of their vests says ICE police on it.
Homan says his agencies are now discussing an end to media ride-alongs on ICE operations to better protect inside information, saying the less people who know about them, the more likely they'll be secure. So the agency can continue on President Trump's promise to carry out the largest deportation effort in history.
Yeah, so what you have here is Democrats ruining the phone. Okay, the largest mass deportation in history was supposed to be televised for the world to see. It's the best entertainment on television. Okay, but because Democrats, again, are the no fun party, apparently, they decided that, you know what, we're going to make it much harder for Tom Homan and ICE to conduct these raids. And now Tom Homan has to operate in more secrecy, right? So you can't have the media ride-alongs because stuff is getting leaked to the media. You have snitches within the FBI. They're going to the sanctuary cities and linking information. But the good thing is that Tom Homan has announced that they believe they found the person who was leaking the information to some of these sanctuary cities. Take a look.
Tom, where are these leaks coming from?
Well, look, we think it's coming from inside, and we know the first leak of Aurora is under current investigation. We think we identified that person under investigation right now. The California leak, Secretary Noem, you know, she's correct. Some of the information we're receiving tends to lead toward the FBI. But I talked to the Deputy Attorney General all this weekend. They've opened up a criminal investigation, and they have promised that not only this person lose their job and lose their pension, they're going to go to jail. They're going to criminally prosecute. So we're all over it. We got the DHS IG investigating the first one. Have a pretty good idea what happened. Can't share a lot because it's under investigation, but the IG's opened up a criminal investigation on the second one. We're sending a strong message. It's just not, you know, giving the bad guys a heads up so they can escape apprehension. Right? We're arresting, you know, giving, you know, Venezuelan gang a heads up so we can't arrest them. You're putting officers' lives at risk. It's only a matter of time. If we walk into a place where there's going to be a bad guy doesn't care, he's going to be sitting and wait for the officers to show up and ambush them. This is not a game. So DHS and DOJ are connected at hip to hold these people responsible in a criminal fashion.
Yeah, so whoever leaked this information, not only should they lose all their government benefits, their pensions, whatever benefits they receive as a result of being a government employee, they should also be put in prison for at least 20 years, right? At least 20 years. I'm so serious, okay? They should be punished to the maximum extent of the law because they're putting law enforcement in danger. They're costing taxpayers money, okay? These operations are expensive, okay? They're very expensive. Again, that's another part about this that annoys me because Democrats want to talk about how this costs too much, right? This is the first time Democrats ever talked about something costing too much, right? They only think that things cost too much when they benefit the American people. Like, for example, tax cuts cost too much, right? Can't do that, okay? Mass deportations cost too much. Can't do that.
On his first full day in office, Donald Trump scrapped a longstanding U.S. policy that says immigration agents can't enter public schools or healthcare facilities or houses of worship to go after immigrants. Today, people protesting that change rallied at a historic Episcopal church in New York. Yesterday, the city council in Ithaca, New York, voted unanimously to bar local law enforcement from cooperating with ICE raids. That's despite the Trump administration threatening to prosecute Ithaca public officials who don't cooperate with their crackdown. Yesterday, one school superintendent in Alice, Texas, posted a letter alerting parents that ICE agents might board school buses to check citizenship of school kids. According to information the school board had received, that letter went up yesterday. It has since been removed from the school district website.
I want people to understand that undocumented folk in this country contribute approximately $100 billion in taxes, and they pay into Social Security that they can't pull down on. So you tell me how any of this makes sense, because the estimation is that it would cost us approximately $200 billion in the first year to try to effectuate this. And we know the Republicans are proposing that ICE be given approximately $350 billion. And right now, that's causing a lot of consternation within the Republican caucus. And that is why we are headed to a shutdown on March 14th, because instead of cutting money, it looks like they are absolutely going to need more money.
Yeah, so there's no doubt in my mind that we could do that at a fraction of the cost if you did not have Democrat states and cities going out of their way to try to make it harder for ICE, okay, to increase the cost associated with the mass deportations. Again, that's the part about this that annoys the hell out of me, okay? And this is why I support Pam Bondi and the DOJ going after these sanctuary cities and mayors that are trying to undermine federal law, right? You need to have some of these Democrat mayors arrested. They should be arrested, and the funding for these sanctuary cities should be stripped, right? That's exactly what should happen. They should be defunded because they're costing taxpayers more money to enforce the law than otherwise is needed due to the fact that these local municipalities don't want to cooperate with federal law. So with that being said, you have West Hollywood, LA, they're outraged, right? They're upset about the impending ICE raid.
Hi, John and Sam. Yeah, listen, the signs were posted on Saturday night sometime behind me here on Santa Monica Boulevard in front of the bar Motherlode. Now, by Sunday, they had been taken down, but I spoke to the mayor of West Hollywood, who fears the damage may have already been done. Amid days of protests where hundreds took to the streets of downtown Los Angeles to march against the immigration and deportation policies of the Trump administration, ICE notices like this one popped up in West Hollywood's Rainbow District over the weekend.
I was terrified and horrified.
Danny Hang has called West Hollywood home for 4 years and was one of the first to spot the signs along Santa Monica Boulevard.
So I immediately called our director of community safety, and the city took swift action.
He says he immediately took action, calling on the attention of local officials to get the signs taken down.
Harassment, sort of fear-based, fear-mongering, and that's just not going to stand in our city. We're a city that supports one another. We are one of the very first cities in Southern California to be a sanctuary city for the immigrant community.
West Hollywood Mayor Chelsea Beyer says the signs are likely fakes, printed at home and then just duct taped up. And while the number listed does go to the Homeland Security Investigations tip line, the signs themselves were posted against city code, making them illegal. Danny says whoever posted them wants to spread intimidation.
I have many friends that are part of our immigrant community here in West Hollywood and beyond. They're feeling very terrified.
Tonight, the mayor instead hoping to spread information on how people can protect themselves and their families.
Quickly, I made sure that our communications division was working on a Know Your Rights campaign so that people who may fear this threat being very real for them and their community know that the city is with them, that we are standing in support of them.
Now, part of the Know Your Rights campaign includes going digital, like signs behind me here. There's going to be a QR code where people can scan to get more information on what they can do. Meanwhile, the mayor tells me she's working with police to hopefully catch the people who posted these signs in the first place. For now,
Wow. Imagine using taxpayer dollars to go after people who are posting notices with a tip line to contact ICE about illegal immigrants. Which, you know, hey, just saying, I mean, they're here illegally, okay? You're spending resources for that, but you're not spending resources to actually, I don't know, deal with the criminals, right? And to actually have the criminals be arrested. This is a prime example of the priorities of the Democrat Party, which is not on law-abiding American citizens, it's on the illegal immigrants, protecting criminals. This is what they're doing. All of these people going out of their way to undermine the mass deportations, to undermine the enforcement of federal law in this country. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we have to deal with, right? This is what we have to deal with. And these are the same people that'll say, oh, mass deportations cost too much. And it's like, well, yeah, you're making it much harder. If you was to cooperate, we could do the mass deportations at a fraction of the cost, right? A fraction of the cost. We could do the mass deportations. No doubt in my mind. If all of these cities and states cooperated. But since they don't want to cooperate, this is what we got to deal with. We got to spend more taxpayer money to do something that should be a lot cheaper than what it is. And that's why I personally think that these elected officials that go out of their way to undermine federal law should face some type of accountability, right? They should face accountability. Because what they're doing is dangerous. They're putting people's lives in danger. Not just their constituents, but law enforcement. And they're also forcing taxpayers to spend more money. This is criminal stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
He is not